Are you taking vitamin E supplement? Did you know that most vitamin supplements contain synthetic alpha tocopherol? And that's labeled as DL alpha tocopherol. Now, natural alpha tocopherol. Hi friends, I'm so excited. I'm going to share with you my favorite gluten-free, high fiber, high protein bread that actually can be made into a healthier dessert. There is no added fiber. There's no added protein powders. All these ingredients that I use are all natural. In fact, they're organic and they can be found in your pantry. In fact, this bread is packed with 29 grams of omega-3 fats, 52 grams of protein, 56 grams of fiber, and a plethora of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that you're not going to find in your typical bread. So I'm going to walk you through how I made this bread, what's in it that's good for you, and how you can make it even healthier when you convert it into an easy dessert. Now, behind me, I don't know if you can see it, are the ingredients that I use. So let's go over what I picked and why I picked these ingredients. Now, first, you want to start with a cup of cold water and some flax seeds. So I just got this at Sprouts. It's basically whole flax seeds. Now I always buy my flax seeds whole because flax seeds are one of those foods that easily go bad if you buy them ground up. Now the reason is because it's high in fats. It's high in polyunsaturated fats called alpha linolenic acid. And so when you grind these up, your body converts alpha linolenic acid into omega-3 fats, which are an essential fat. So what I did was I just poured out a cup of this and I put it into a grinder and I ground it into a powder and then I soaked it in my water. And so to the flaxseed water mixture, I added my nuts and seeds. So I added pecans, peanuts, pumpkin seeds, cashews, almonds, and the one thing I forgot to add was walnuts. But I'll show you how to incorporate those walnuts a little bit later. So you can put them whole or you can grind them up. So I ground this up and I mixed it actually with some ground dates. I basically have Cadbury dates. These dates are super creamy and delicious. They look like that. And what I did was I took the seed out and then as well as the stem. So all these dates have a little bit of a stem. And this stem right here, I guess you can eat it, but it doesn't taste all that great. So I removed it. And then of course the seed is pretty hard. So I also removed the seeds. So I put in a little food processor my nuts and seeds and dates and I made this roll. So this I put in the freezer. This by itself is delicious. And to this, you can add spices like ginger, turmeric, clove, cinnamon. It will really boost the antioxidant content of this nut bar. But I just basically added this mixture to the ground flaxseed and water. And after that, I just poured it on a baking pan, spread it out thinly, and popped it into a toaster oven. So here it is. This is my bread. Okay. Looks like this on top. Looks like this in the back. I popped it in for, let's say, about half an hour or so, depending on how thin you want to make this. Now that recipe is actually for a flaxseed cracker. So if you mix flaxseed and water, you get this glue because of all the soluble fiber. And that glue is what will help you bind things together. So it serves as a great way to make what people call vegan dishes because it's an egg replacement. And so that's how this stuck together. And to this, I'm going to show you how to make an awesome dessert. Before we make that dessert, I have a surprise for you. I got sent one of the rarest fruits on earth, and it's in this box. So this came actually yesterday, and I forgot to open the mail, so I just got it. I've actually never had this before. My brother showed it to me, and I couldn't believe it, so I Googled the farm, and I asked them to mail me some. So let's open this right now. I have here my scissors that I've had ever since medical school. And I love these pair of scissors. They cut through just about anything. They're not that sharp. They're actually serrated. It's one of those scissors that we use in healthcare to take apart wounds. These are kind of like safety scissors because they have very blunt tips so that you don't accidentally cut yourself. Okay, so I can smell this box, carrying this box all the way home from the mailbox. It is so fragrant. Okay, so let's see what's inside. I have 3 of them. Okay, these are mountain rose apples. These are some of the rarest apples on earth. And I have 3 of them. Wow, they are so fragrant. They actually survive shipping so nicely. And right here is another one. I just washed these apples. I have here the mountain rose apple that was mailed to me, as well as the sugar bee apple. So look at the difference in their skin, right? Most apples have pigments concentrated in the outer skin, and that's why they're so red. And these pigments are called anthocyanins. But the mountain rose apples, well, they also have pigments inside their flesh. So let me show you. You're gonna be so surprised with this apple because I was so surprised when my brother showed me this apple. Look at that. Isn't that so unique? I've never seen an apple with pigments inside, right? This is super unique and rare. Let me show you the sugar bee apple. So look at that. Look at that difference. I mean, that is so amazing that this apple is full of pigment inside, and then most apples are like this, they're white inside. So this is why I really needed to try some mountain rose apples. So this is super strange to me, but anthocyanins apparently are produced as a result of both genetic and environmental conditions. So the presence of these anthocyanins, they require special growing conditions, including exposure to sunlight, temperature, and altitude. And this is the reason why I was so interested in these apples, is because these anthocyanins have huge amount of health benefits. They are basically antioxidants, which protect your cells from oxidative stress to reduce inflammation. And this is what it does for these apples. So we're borrowing the apple's immune systems. Now, mountain rose apples, they're typically harvested right now in the fall from late September to October. So I called up the farm in Mount Hood that was harvesting these apples, and sure enough, this is when they're harvesting it. They are great to eat fresh. They have a beautiful color when you add it to dishes. You can use these in salads, pies, or desserts. So I'm going to do that. And instead of converting these apples into a sugar bomb, we're going to do it all natural with the bread that I made. So by the way, I have never seen mountain rose apples in the supermarkets. They are exclusively grown in the Pacific Northwest around the Mount Hood River Valley region in Oregon. And this region just has specific climates and soil conditions to help these apples develop its unique color and flavor. Unlike widely cultivated apples, they aren't grown extensively in other apple producing regions, which restricts their supply for us to buy. So this is a sugar bee variety of an apple. It's relatively new. It is made between cross-pollinating and Honeycrisp and some other unknown apple. So I like it because it's sweet, it's crispy, it has a slight tartness, and it's so juicy. Now, the sugar bee also originated in the Pacific Northwest in Washington and in Oregon, and they are also exclusively produced by select orchards. So I've never tried this, so I'm going to try it with you. And I just heard that it's a little bit tart compared to something like this, the sugar bee. And I figured I'm going to make a dessert to balance the tart and the sweetness on that bread. So neither flavor will overpower my taste buds and allow me to have this kind of sweet and tart texture back and forth. One more thing I'm going to show you, how to preserve these apples so they don't turn brown. And this is where the lime comes in handy, because limes actually give apples this really fragrant taste, and it has full of vitamin C and citric acid to denature the enzymes, the polyphenol peroxidases that are in apples that make your apple turn brown. So let me show you how I do it. So I'm going to cut this basically in half. People do it all different ways. So let me first show you kind of the general idea. So I'm going to take this lime and just basically give my apples a coat. And you can do this individually, or you can squeeze it after you cut all the apples, and then that will help preserve its color so it doesn't turn brown. A couple things about apples. You don't want to eat the apple seeds. There's actually cyanide in apple seeds. I always throw the core away. Now, of course, you have to eat a ton of apple seeds and then digest through the fiber in order to get toxic from the cyanide. But why bother doing that? And you're not going to be able to digest the seeds anyway. It's pretty hard. So let me spend a few minutes cutting this all up to show you how I'm going to convert this bread into a healthier dessert. I'm going to concentrate because I don't want to cut myself. I actually forgot to try it without the lime, so I'm going to pick one of these apples from inside without the lime juice. I'm going to tell you what it tastes like. It's actually really tasty. It's not as sweet. It's not as crispy as a sugar bee apple. It's definitely not as milly as a gala apple. I'm not sure it's as fragrant like this sugar bee. I think this sugar bee is more fragrant. Let me try this. This is definitely more crispy, definitely sweeter. I don't know if I'm tasting the sugar or the fragrance. This is a denser crunch. This is a crispier crunch. They both taste pretty good, but they taste a little bit different. Together, they taste pretty good. I'm a huge apple fan. I used to eat apples every day in my molecular biology class because honestly, I was falling asleep at the lecture, so I needed something to keep me up. This is my bread. I'm going to convert it into a dessert. Now there's several ways you can do this. So you can cut this really thin. And of course, I forgot to bring a bowl, but you can squeeze a lemon in the bowl or soak it in some lemon water. And then we're gonna just plate these apples over the dessert. Some of you may wanna bake this again, which will make this apple even sweeter because it'll concentrate the flavor. But I like my antioxidants fresh. When you bake it, you're probably gonna destroy some of these antioxidants. And you know, I had this like shipped all the way to me, so I'm definitely not gonna bake this, right? I'm gonna eat this and enjoy all these polyphenols. So I try not to bake my polyphenols. So I'm just gonna plate this. It's pretty easy, right? Your kids can do this. Sometimes what I do is I bring apple slices to my church fellowship and I sprinkle some cinnamon. Once I did the lime, and then I sprinkled some cinnamon because I was actually trying to use the lime to prevent it from turning brown. And then I realized I made it brown because I sprinkled all the cinnamon, but the lime did give it a very unique flavor that everybody loved. So that's one easy dish that I bring to church because I think it's packed with fiber, vitamin C, polyphenols. It's just a delicious, easy dessert to make, right, for people to eat. Okay, so here's my apple dish. Isn't that beautiful? Here, take a closer look. I think this is so beautiful. I would eat this just as is, but I'm actually gonna make it a little bit more antioxidant rich and give it a little bit of more fall flavors to it. So I brought with me some cloves. This is like one of the most powerful antioxidants in my pantry, clove. I think it has more antioxidant power than any of my other spices in my pantry. So whenever I can sprinkle a little bit of clove, I do it. You don't want to sprinkle too much because it's overpowering. Maybe just a little bit, maybe over like the white part so that people can pick if they want to eat it or not, or maybe even every other. So I'm just going to sprinkle it on one end so you can see what it looks like. I don't want to sprinkle too much, right? Because then it's going to overpower it and then it'll cover up the rest of the taste. And I'll show you how much I sprinkled. Some people don't like the taste of clove. Right? It's hard to tell. It's very subtle. The other antioxidant I wanted to bring, some chocolate. Everybody loves to drizzle chocolate, but chocolate, a lot of it has really high levels of cadmium and lead. And on top of that, there's a lot of sugar in chocolate bars. So I try to avoid chocolate bars and instead I'm going to sprinkle some cocoa powder. So to make one side a little bit more chocolate tasting. And so I'm going to sprinkle it on top of this part. I usually have a sifter for this, but I can't quite find it. So I'm just going to use a spoon and tap it to like sprinkle it. So it just gives it a little bit of chocolate flavor, cocoa powder, right? Without the added fat of the cocoa butter, or sometimes people put other stuff in it, or the sugar. That's my cocoa powder. I don't want to put too much to overwhelm it. So I'm going to show you another way you can convert this dessert, even without the apples, into a really tasty chocolate dessert. Okay, so I'm going to remove some of my apples and show you what I usually do when I make desserts, okay? So half of this I'm going to make into a chocolate powder, and the other half I'm going to make into a raspberry powder. So I'm going to just pour some in here. I'm going to spread it out. Okay, so it's almost like you can spread it out almost like a tiramisu. I used to make tiramisu, not as healthy, but has the same idea, right? So you're going to spread the chocolate powder on top. And then now I'm going to spread, this is amazing that I found this. This is called organic black raspberry powder. This stuff tastes delicious. It has so many antioxidants, and I've been eating this every night. It's so good. I've never had it, so I always have to try things I've never had, and it tastes so good. It has such awesome black raspberry flavor. So I'm just going to mix this on top with the chocolate powder, and it will taste so divine. Usually it works better with the sifter. So now I'm going to cut this. So let me cut a piece of apple dessert. And I'm going to just make it into a small bar. And actually, I'm going to switch these apples so they look kind of cute. Okay, so this is my apple dessert. If you put this in the oven, of course, it's going to taste better because then it's going to be softer and the apples will kind of melt and infuse into this bread. The other dessert that I have here is the blackberry chocolate bars. This stuff will taste divine. This is a blackberry cocoa powder that can line up your bread. Okay, I'm going to try the apple dessert first. If you make it thinner, it'll probably look better, but I really like apples, so I don't mind. This is great. This is what the bread looks like inside. And the more dates you put in it, the sweeter it's going to be. So this is now the black raspberry powder with cocoa powder. Okay, so I'm going to try this one. I just love the black raspberry powder. It tastes really good to me. Now, I wouldn't bake the black raspberry powder because you'll probably kill some of the antioxidants. So that's why I sprinkled it on afterwards. Now, honestly, I can eat this all day long, but this is a high caloric food because it has so many nuts and seeds. There's so much fat in it. Although, for the amount of nuts and seeds that you get, you actually don't end up gaining weight if you eat it whole. Now, I wouldn't use like blanched almond flour because blanched almond flour doesn't have that shell that covers the almond, right? That skin. That's what you want to eat when you eat nuts and seeds. So this is why, when you eat peanuts and they don't have that skin, you're not going to get the antioxidant power that you would get if you did eat that skin, because that skin protects the nuts from going rancid. That's what you want, because that's where all the polyphenol power lies. Okay, so I wanted to show you these apples that I had with lime. Look at that, it's still nice and white. So this works great to inhibit the polyphenol peroxidase enzymes to keep your apples nice and fresh. Let's talk about some of the ingredients in the bread. Now, I blended several different types of nuts and seeds, really to get a diversity of nutrients. And I think the biggest problem in our food supply today is that we actually eat so few plants, but instead we're just eating different versions of the same plant. I mean, we're basically eating either wheat, rice, or corn. And when you don't have diversity, not only do you lack nutrition, but you're also concentrating toxins like pesticides and herbicides. And the reason why I made the bread with nuts and seeds is because I'm actively trying to eat more nuts and seeds. The point is not to eat the entire thing in one day. A cup of nuts has probably over 800 calories. And of course, you can make it even prettier by spreading some nut butters. It'll look very creamy, and you'll just get more calories by eating food like that. So I generally try to keep my nuts whole because I don't want to overwhelm my body with calories. And when you eat your nuts whole, you actually don't absorb all those calories. You probably absorb 60% of what you eat because of the hard fiber shell. And that's the advantage of eating nuts in their original form and not blended and spread on bread. Now, I did grind it a little bit so that it would have a better texture, but I didn't powder it. And I really try to avoid powdered foods, whether that's wheat flour or almond flour. And just know that when you have floured foods, that is much more caloric and you will definitely absorb much more of the nutrients than you would a whole almond. Now, if you are baking with almond flour, look out for the blanched almond flour. That's even less nutritious because it doesn't have the skin of the almond. That skin is very good for your health. It's packed with antioxidants. I try to eat almonds almost every day because it is so good for my skin. Almonds are exceptionally high in vitamin E, particularly in a form called alpha tocopherol, which is the most active and beneficial form for human health. And you probably didn't know that vitamin E isn't just one compound. Vitamin E is a group of 8 different compounds divided into 2 categories. Tocopherols, which is alpha, beta, gamma, and delta, of which alpha tocopherol has the most activity in humans. And it is the one most commonly found in supplements. Tocotrienols, which include alpha, beta, gamma, and delta, they're also found in foods, but in smaller proportions. And they're also believed to be good antioxidants for your heart and your brain too. Vitamin E is essential to help protect your cells from oxidative stress, and that supports skin health as well as your immune system, especially for older adults. Vitamin E supports your white blood cells, including T cells, which is your body defense against infection. It is shown to protect the eyes, especially against macular degeneration and cataracts, which are both linked to oxidative stress. And it works with other antioxidants like vitamin E and beta carotene for added protection. However, you need to be cautious when you're taking vitamin E supplements. And I'll tell you a little bit about that later. If you have hormone imbalance, well, vitamin E has been shown to improve hormone balance, especially in women who may have PMS symptoms or menopause, discomfort from estrogen imbalance. If you are anemic, well, vitamin E supports formation of red blood cells to help reduce anemia. And it also is really important for reproductive health. Now, if you have a choice between eating your vitamin E in natural food versus taking it as a supplement, well, just know that food is generally better absorbed. And this is because when you eat that food, it comes with other fats and other nutrients. You're eating a whole nut, not just an ingredient. And the whole nut, the whole package, enhances the absorption and effectiveness of the vitamin E inside. Vitamin E is best worked when combined with antioxidants like vitamin C and selenium. Vitamin C can actually help regenerate vitamin E after it neutralizes free radicals. This enhances its effectiveness. And since vitamin E is fat soluble, consuming it with small amounts of dietary fats, like in your nuts, can actually help absorption. So the recommended dietary allowance, RDA, for vitamin E is 15 milligrams per day for adults. And most people can achieve this through a well-balanced diet. Now, of all the nuts, almonds are particularly high in vitamin E. And the next highest nut would be peanuts, which is really not a nut, it's a legume. And you also probably be surprised that leafy greens are also high in vitamin E. But really, you can find vitamin E in a variety of foods like avocados, kiwis, and mangoes. They are also in plant oils, when you're cooking oils, and they can be added to cereals and plant-based milks. Wheat germ has 20.3 milligrams per tablespoon of vitamin E. That's literally over the RDA requirement for the entire day. But remember, when you eat whole food, you're eating naturally occurring vitamin E in many forms, including alpha tocopherol and other types like gamma tocopherol, beta tocopherol, and delta tocopherol, as well as tocotrienols, which are also antioxidants that will benefit your health. Are you taking a vitamin E supplement? Did you know that most vitamin supplements contain synthetic alpha tocopherol? And that's labeled as DL alpha tocopherol. Now, natural alpha tocopherol is sometimes labeled as D alpha tocopherol. And sometimes the supplements will have a label that says plant source. And that's another way that you can tell that it's all natural and not synthetic. Now, some premium supplements may also include a mixture of tocopherols or tocotrienols, but that's actually less common. Supplements can boost your vitamin E level, including synthetic vitamin E DL alpha tocopherol. But that absorption is only about 50% compared to getting it from whole food. The bioavailability, which is the absorption and the effectiveness of synthetic vitamin E, is even lower. The body may not absorb it as efficiently as a natural form. So this is why if you're going to buy a supplement, try to buy it in its natural form. Now, isolated vitamin E supplements, whether it's all natural or synthetic, it doesn't actually provide all the different forms of vitamin E. Remember, there's 8. And you're also not getting the additional nutrients to help vitamin E work and be absorbed. So basically, you've lost a natural balance of vitamin E compounds and nutrients that accompany and work synergistically with vitamin E, which are found in whole foods. In addition, alpha tocopherol supplements that can disrupt the natural balance of tocopherols, possibly affecting the absorption and utilization of the other 7 forms of vitamin E. And when you eat foods high in vitamin E, let's say nuts and seeds, leafy greens, plant oils, you are also eating other beneficial compounds like polyphenols, fiber, and healthy fats. They all work together to enhance your vitamin E absorption and your overall health. Now, synergy is super important in life. And so when you find nutrients that are synergistic, they support each other. They may help increase your absorption or they amplify the health benefits. And this is why just taking a vitamin E supplement will not give you those benefits. And vitamin E from whole foods hasn't been linked to adverse events, even when you consume it at higher levels, as the body can self-regulate and utilize it naturally. And consuming vitamin E-rich foods as a part of a balanced diet, it provides the safest and most effective way to maintain healthy levels of vitamin E. Taking high doses of vitamin E supplements, especially synthetic forms, that may cause some issues such as blood thinning, increased hemorrhage or bleeding, and potential interference with certain medications like anticoagulants. And of course, I prefer getting most of my vitamin E from foods, as I believe my body is just better able to handle and regulate the natural form so much better. Tocotrienols and gamma tocopherols, they actually have been shown to have pretty good healthy antioxidant potential in certain studies. So if you only take a supplement, you'll be missing out on those additional antioxidants. And they also can help alpha tocopherol be absorbed more efficiently. But remember, alpha tocopherol may not be enough of an antioxidant by itself. And when you take mega doses of supplements, you give the body a challenge to handle abnormally unnatural high doses doses of vitamin E that you would never really get in just eating regular whole foods. And in fact, if you smoke, you really want to be careful about that because high doses of beta carotene as well as vitamin E has increased your rate of getting cancer. In fact, male smokers who took both beta carotene and vitamin E, they had a higher risk of lung cancer and mortality compared to those who smoked and didn't take those supplements. And the increase is primarily seen in beta carotene and vitamin E combo. But this just kind of highlights the potential unintended interactions when you take high doses of anything, especially antioxidants. And when you eat it in food form, you don't disrupt the body's natural balance and its ability to generate and regulate vitamin E. There are fat-soluble and water-soluble vitamins. When you're taking vitamin A and vitamin E, those are fat-soluble vitamins, which can accumulate in your liver. And this potentially can lead to toxicity over time. Now, although antioxidants generally protect cells from damage, very high doses of antioxidants, including vitamin E, can sometimes act as pro-oxidants in the body, causing oxidative stress instead of reducing it. And this is why I personally never take a vitamin E supplement. And I don't take a multivitamin with vitamin E. Instead, I try to get all my vitamin E from nuts, seeds, legumes, and leafy greens. I also wanted to mention the pecan. It has one of the highest antioxidant levels amongst all nuts, especially because they have a lot of polyphenolic compounds, which includes flavonols and vitamin E. They are also a rich source of B vitamins, such as vitamin B1 and B6, which support energy production and brain health. And I don't know about you, but my brain is always tired at the end of the day, so I really want to give it as much help as I can when I'm resting. This way I can wake up perky again. Pecans contain beta-sitosterol, a plant sterol that can help reduce cholesterol. And how it works is it decreases cholesterol absorption, which potentially can mean lower cholesterol levels in your body over time. Now, pecans are a great source of dietary fiber, about 2.7 grams per ounce, great prebiotic for beneficial gut bacteria, and they also provide zinc, magnesium, manganese, copper, which are all essential minerals for your immune system, as well as your bone health and energy.
Hi friends, I am so thrilled that you want to take charge of your health and take charge of your food. Now, I know nutrition can be complex, but it doesn't have to be. And I'm here to support you in this lifelong journey. So if you point your camera app to this QR code, it'll take you to a link for a free handout that I created just for you. And if you like it, if you want to see other handouts, please go to the link in my show notes and then you can leave me your feedback on what I could do to help you in your journey. Okay, back to the video now.
Now, I want to highlight peanuts, which are an excellent source of vitamin E. But I think most people, they eat peanuts the wrong way because they're eating it without the skin. And when you're getting peanuts with the skin, you're actually getting 10 times the amount of polyphenols than you would if you ate peanuts without the skin. For example, with the skin, you're getting 2,000 milligrams of polyphenols for every 100 gram of peanuts. And if you don't eat the skin, you're only getting 200 milligrams of polyphenols for the same 100 gram of peanuts. And these polyphenols that you're leaving on the table includes resveratrol, a potent antioxidant. You're also getting flavonols, which are also potent antioxidants to reduce inflammation. And you're getting phenolic acids that also are strong antioxidants. So every time you eat peanuts with the skin, you're eating a ton of antioxidant power. Besides what I mentioned, peanuts also have essential minerals like magnesium and calcium that are important to maintain your skeletal mass and your bones. It's also a great source of dietary fiber. It contains plant sterols that can help reduce cholesterol levels. But that's not going to be very helpful if you're eating the wrong peanuts. So if you eat peanut butter, turn it around and read the ingredients. If they have added fats like palm oil or palm kernel oil, that's going to increase your cholesterol level. And in addition, a lot of creamy peanut butter adds sugar because simply sugar just makes everything taste better. So that's why you have to be careful with processed foods because oftentimes their processing allows them to put more than you need or should want for your body. When you eat nuts in its whole food form, not ground to a powder or with added fats or sugar, nuts can actually help you control your weight because it is filling. It is a satiating food. And I mentioned earlier, if you eat it in whole food form, you don't actually absorb all the calories. Probably you're absorbing 60%. Now, peanuts belong to the legume family, which I also eat on a almost daily basis. Now, legumes are also packed with fiber. It takes effort and calories to chew. Push that fiber through your gastrointestinal tract. That's why it's always important to give your body that opportunity to work for its food. Now, sometimes when you look in the toilet after eating lot nuts and seeds and legumes, you'll see whole pieces of food because it's really just that hard to absorb all the calories if you're not chewing well. Now, legumes are a low glycemic food. That means it really won't elevate your blood sugar by much. Now, of course, if you add sugar to it, if you're adding fat to it, you're going to change the metabolism. I know lots of people give themselves reward. They go get a sugary drink or a sugary food and they think they can make it up by eating better. It's like flooding. If your house has water in it and you're trying to figure out if you can reverse engineer the damage, well, oftentimes you'll be disappointed because even if you put towels down and sandbags down, if the water gets in your house, your house will be damaged with water in the drywall. And usually you have to take that whole drywall off and they just can't salvage it. And so this is the same whenever you eat processed chemicals. If you give up processed food for a while and then you want to reward yourself, don't be surprised that you're going to have some kind of metabolic consequences for not sticking to your diet. So let's talk about pumpkin seeds. I try to eat pumpkin seeds every day, and I honestly try to get my family to eat pumpkin seeds every day because they're an excellent source of magnesium, and it also has zinc, iron, copper, and manganese. These are all essential for human health, and it also has omega-3 fatty acids, which are also so beneficial for our health. As a nation, we are so low in omega-3 fat. I try to eat pumpkin seeds every day because they're excellent for hair growth. And I know my hair requires a lot of energy and vital micronutrients to grow. So every week I make sure I have enough zinc and magnesium and antioxidants and protein. And whenever you eat seeds, even pumpkin seeds, they have plant sterols that can help you reduce your cholesterol levels. Now, pumpkin seeds are high in minerals like magnesium and calcium. Both are super important for bone density and strength. They also have a low glycemic index level and a high protein index, as well as a high fiber index. And pumpkin seeds, they also have vitamin E. The one organ that a lot of people have forgotten about is the prostate. I think we've neglected it because we really can't reach it, and people don't have prostate issues until late in their life. But there's so much a person can do about their prostate before they get prostate problems. And the number one thing is to add pumpkin seeds to your diet. Zinc in the pumpkin seed, it plays a vital role in testosterone regulation. And as you get older, you can have less blood flow, but it's important that you try to keep and maintain that blood flow that maintains your youth. And this is why it's important to get enough magnesium. And like all the other organs, your prostate is undergoing oxidative stress every day. And so eating antioxidants, the ones in pumpkin seeds, can actually help your prostate stay healthier. There's also omega-3 and omega-6 fats in pumpkin seeds that help to balance your hormones. Now, there's tons of research about foods used to prevent cancer, and pumpkin seeds appear to be rich in anti-cancer nutrients, especially ones that can potentially help prevent prostate cancer. Now, some studies have even suggested that pumpkin seeds can actually help relieve benign prostatic hypertrophy symptoms, such as increased urination and hesitancy. Have you wondered how I stuck the whole bread together without any flour? Well, that's the job of flax seeds. They're one of the most powerful seeds you can eat to reduce your risk of cancer. And if you want to learn more about that, watch the next video.